Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another garden update, and this is the last week of April going into May. And so I'm going to try to get this up within 2 days, and again, these are the ones I try to keep you as closely updated because I'm like 3.5 weeks ahead on my videos. So just so you kind of understand the timeline, I think today is April 29th or 30th. I don't remember the date. So I thought I'd start in the greenhouse since last week. I just kind of didn't focus on much. My tomatoes are coming along and some other things. I'm going to talk a little bit about the chickens and what's going on with them. And also I'm going to go back out front and cover a few of the herbs that are coming up that I keep forgetting to show when I do my flybys out there. So let's get to it. All right, so I did get some more tomato plants in the ground, and though I'm not going to keep them this crowded together because this is just too close together, the reason I did this was because I really needed to get them out of their pots. I didn't want to put them in new pots. I just stuck them in the ground so that they would have some space to grow and get nutrients, and they're doing really well. These ones here are the black vernissage, and then over here I have the black brandywines. Now you can tell the difference between the ones that were still in the pot and that I just recently transplanted, and the ones that I had put in the ground initially. And then over here I have a couple of purples. They're not doing too good. Those are some more purples in there. I mean, they're doing fine, but they're not doing near as good as these black brandywines and the black vernissage. So I'm really excited about these brandywines. I still have a couple more here, and then I gave a few to the neighbor. So yeah, they're doing good. And so anyway, the plan is once I know we're not going to have any more really hard freezes at night, I'm going to transplant some of these right out here, because once the weather warms up, this is the one spot my tomato plants can do good. Now if you look close, you can see outside the window there's a couple that I tried as a test run. See that? Yeah. Didn't do good. There's several of them there, and that's one of the nice things about making lots of starts is that you know, you can either sell them and give them away, or you can use them as experiments to see, you know, and to check to see what's going to do best where, and if they die, no big loss. So then here are the Castelluto Genovese, and again, the smallest ones are ones I had to just get out of a pot and put them somewhere, and these won't stay here. And then these were the ones that were already put in the ground. These are the black Japanese trufelle. Same thing again. I have a couple extras out here, and I still have some more in a pot and some that I gave away. One thing I wanted to focus in on is these two, I'm calling them weeds. These get really tall. Both of these get are very, very shallow roots. They come out super easy. They're really, really easy to pull up. But these especially, I think they get little yellow flowers on it if I remember, but I try to get them up before they go to flower. And I don't know if anyone out there may recognize either one of them and know what they are, so I'd just be interested in knowing, because you know, if they're anything usable, I wouldn't mind keeping a couple of them, but I'm just not familiar with what they are, so I'm hoping somebody can help me. Now I'll show you this other side. There's a whole bunch in here, and I've got a lot of lettuces in here, and so for the most part I just don't bother trying to weed these things out because they're all about the same size as my lettuces. Like here's one of those weeds right here, assuming it is just a mere weed, and then this one here, and of course I got dandelion and stuff coming up too, and that's fine. But anyway, I want to be careful about pulling too much out of here because I might inadvertently pull up some lettuce. See, here's another one of these. And these started coming into our garden about the time that we first started bringing horse manure over. And these, I don't know, they came up years ago, and they've just keep getting more prolific every year. But thankfully, they have very shallow roots and are easy to pull up. So yeah, if anyone recognizes those and can help me figure out what they are, I'd appreciate that. But anyway, what I have going on here is just a mix of lettuces. I've got some bok choy in here too. I just tossed the seed down there and let it do its thing. Eventually this area will be dedicated to melons and cucumbers, but for now it's a good place for me to get my lettuces started, and then I can transplant them outside anywhere once the weather is warm enough. I also have cilantro that's coming up. It's another reason why it's coming up in here among the tomatoes too, though I have done some weeding. I'm trying to be careful because see back here, there's another cilantro. That's the cilantro that always seems to do best for me, is the stuff that just self-seeds and I just leave it alone and let it grow. That always seems to do the best. So, and cilantro grows well right among tomatoes, so I don't mind that. So another one right there amongst those weeds. So again, I try to be careful because I don't want to pull up my cilantro. On this side are all the Romas. These are the Rio Grandes. They're doing so-so. Part of the problem with this section right here is it gets the least amount of sun of all the places in the greenhouse down here on the ground. And so I know that's part of the issue. They're not doing horrible, but they're not doing super great either. Now these are spinaches, and I don't know what kind of squash. I don't even know if he remembered the name of it, but apparently it's a big squash. But the neighbor gave us all these. We shared some of our tomatoes with him, and he shared some of his little starts with us. So I guess these are male and female spinaches, and I don't know if he even said what type of spinach, but I'll be putting these, transplanting these outside pretty soon. Again, just waiting for the weather to get warm enough. We've had some pretty cold nights. So the first squash, the first one to come up for us was the Cherokee Tan Pumpkin. These are the seed that we got from Danny and Wanda that we ordered from their Etsy store. And then, got lots of little things. Then I've got a pippin trying to come up. Over there is the cushaw. And we did have an orange butternut coming up. It's right here. You see that? Doggone slugs. So that's what this is. This is the sluggo. It's mostly just iron and then bait. That's all it is. That's why it's safe for the garden. It's even safe for pets. And we actually found that out from a friend who lives in the area, and that's all he'll use because he's very concerned about things being safe for other animals. And so I was glad to find that out because I've been avoiding it. I still try to use it limitedly because of I'm not really sure what the other ingredients are, and also because it's expensive. And then over here I had the same problem. I had some lemon cucumbers coming up, and the slugs just right there, they ate that before I was able to get the bait out here. But I planted some more seed. I've got a cucumber here. I did have some peach melons coming up. Slugs ate those, so I decided I better get that bait down so I can at least get my melons and cucumbers. So I like to start them in pots like this and then transplant them. All the squash will be transplanted outside, but the melons and cucumbers, they will grow in here over there because I can't get any of them to grow outside in this area. At least I haven't yet. I still will try. If I get enough starts, I will try some outside. The peppers still look pretty much the same, but look at these nasturtiums. I really want to get them outside. I do see nasturtiums popping up out there, but I'm still a little bit nervous because, we had a freeze the other night, and some of my potato plants are coming up. The leaves all got frozen on them and are black. I'm not really worried about those because anybody knows anything about potatoes, they're going to be just fine. So since I hear chickens making all kinds of noise, I'm going to move on to the chicken topic. Minnie Pearl is the one making all that racket. So here was our little fix that we'd kind of forgotten about. We did this before and it worked really good. So the snow peas, I got the beans planted now too. And the snow peas are coming up. They're doing fine, but to keep the robins off of them, this was a really good way to do it, was take these excess sheets of Lexan that we have, or polycarbonate, and that helps keep the robins out of there and gives the peas a chance to grow. They usually leave the beans alone. It's the peas, because they typically come up first, that the robins try to peck out of the ground. But one of the things I keep forgetting to show is I do like to plant beans and peas in pots here and there, all over the place, on the deck, on, just all around the backyard. And so here are some of the peas. Okay, remember the chains that I took off the hanging pots that I put around my potato plants out front? Well, this is what I'm going to use them for. I have them hung in several places so that the beans and the peas will be able to climb up those and then go up there. And if they climb along my string of lights, that's just fine too. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about the chickens, so I better get in here and talk about the chickens. Huh, Minnie Pearl? And if you haven't seen that, my son's fiance made that for us a couple of years ago when we first got the chickens. Isn't that cute? Okay, so we're in here, and let's see, I already got the eggs that they've laid so far this morning, so there's their nesting boxes. Now, I had a hen go broody, and some of you know if you've been following me on Facebook and other places, and I wasn't sure what to do because the chicks were in the chicks are in the dog crate, and we tried introducing them to the broody hen. Didn't work. She wasn't going to take them, and so I didn't know what to do. I'm like, how am I going to, this was a new thing for me. Well, then, people were people were telling us about, the need to keep them ventilated, bring their body temperature down. And we remembered we had this live trap, which just happens to be, we got this a year we were having big problems with raccoons. And we haven't needed it since. That was years ago. And so we just remembered it, and it ended up being the perfect size to put her in. So I set it up on these blocks so there could be plenty of air underneath, and we just got her broke. It took a few days, but we just got her broke. And now this will be, I'm going to take these blocks out and set it directly on the ground, and then I'll be able to, she's wanting to get up there because she's got to lay an egg. That's Minnie Pearl there. Anyway, and then I'll be able to transition the chicks. Am I in your way? I'll be able to transition the chicks to here. This will be a really good size for them, and to still be able to keep them kind of somewhat separated from the older chickens and get them all used to each other. So I was really glad when we remembered we had this thing. It worked out great as a brooding cage, and will work out great for the chicks. How you doing, Minnie Pearl? Am I bothering you? Oh, and that white stuff, it's not poo. It's actually diatomaceous earth. I just kind of was putting it in their nesting boxes when I had that hen go broody until I figured out what to do. I wanted to make sure I kept the pests down. So our bigger apple tree, the one that was actually here, it was really small when we first bought this place, but it was already established. And it's getting lots of beautiful blooms. Look at those things. Just so pretty. So all over the place, if you can see up there. Lots of them. So I keep forgetting to talk about the apple tree just because I kind of take it for granted because it's been here all along. And then the peppermint is starting to come back from around the tree. We had for a while there, we had to have our firewood. When he brought home a whole bunch of firewood, we had it stacked all over this whole yard, all over, a big huge pile. And so the peppermint got a little covered up last year, so now it's coming back. Let's talk about some of the herbs that I keep missing. So now I've talked about the mojito mint, the oregano, the woolly lamb's ear, the lavender, lemon balm. Let's see. Okay, yarrow. This is one of the ones I keep forgetting about because, when I'm trying to look through the camera and walking along, it's just some of the stuff you just get used to seeing. And the yarrow has only recently started getting bigger. Oh, I have another pansy right here. Oh, good. That's so good. These are all ones that are coming back from last year, which were ones that had self-seeded in a pot the year before, and then I moved them out here. So anyway, this is the yarrow coming up. This is what it should look like, at least, by the second year that it comes back. So yarrow will die completely back in the fall. In the late fall, it will die completely back, and then you'll see it start coming up again, just a little feathery. Well, hi, Luna. There's Luna. Hello, Luna. Are you coming to visit us? Yeah, we watch our son and his girlfriend. We watch their dog. She's actually full sister to Cody. Same mom, same dad, same litter. And she's twice his size. But anyway, so yeah, this very, very feathery and light. I love the way yarrow looks when it first starts coming up. And I like when the leaves get bigger. They can get quite big, but before it starts to flower, then that's when I like to harvest a lot of the leaves. And then dry them up and use them for various things. And I have a video just on yarrow that you can check out. I'll go ahead and link to it up in the upper corner. And look at these pansies. Again, these were ones that came back and they're just doing good. I took a bunch off of there yesterday and a whole bunch more blooms came on. And the valerian, okay, I got to get down here. I know I keep showing this every time because I'm just amazed. I mean, the ones out back are just minuscule compared to this one. It's doing just incredibly well. So I cannot wait to see it get flowers. I'm assuming it will get flowers this year since it's its second year. And anyway, I'm pretty excited. Now here's another yarrow I wanted to show you, and yes, I'm still working on these. I have to be very careful because I have calendula seed and nasturtium seed planted in here, and I don't want to dig those up. But so I just try to come out here and get these out carefully. But yeah, so you can see this is you know, this is farther behind the other one because this one was planted later. There's another one right there. This is a young one. This was probably one that was seeded from the year before. And so it's coming up, and so you can see what the yarrow looks like when it first starts coming back. Okay, and then here's the little nasturtium. I believe it's the dwarf nasturtium that I planted out here. So it's coming up. It's, you know, looking good. I'm still a little bit nervous yet about moving the ones from the greenhouse out though, because they've already been growing where it's a little warmer. It might be a bit of a shock to move them out with as cold as it's been at night. But you can see how the difference in size. You know, I planted them all at the same time, the ones in the greenhouse and these ones, and there's a few coming up along this edge here. This is a wild geranium, and this is medicinal and usable. I have yet to use it for anything, but last year I did do a video. You can see the flower right here, and that's the stuff that's coming up all in here. I let it grow right here. I love it. I think it's beautiful, but I have to keep it out of here. But if you're interested in knowing what this is good for, I did a video just on wild geranium last year, and so I'll link to that in the upper corner. So someone said in the last video, I hope you know that that's got uses, and I appreciate that, because, and it's like, yep, I do. I even have a video on it. But one of these days, I should start collecting it and drying it. Mostly the benefits are in the roots of this, but the leaves are usable too. And look at here. Couple more chickens got out again, 3 of them. This is why I have to keep an eye on them when I let them out front, because this fence is just, there's 4 of them out. 4 chickens outside the fence. Okay, I better deal with this. All right, well, I got the chickens all corralled again, little stinkers, and they went ahead and just headed straight for the backyard because they knew they were in trouble. So what I'm going to do is shut that gate. They're done for the day. When they start getting out, then they have to go in the backyard and they can't come out for the rest of the day. But as it stands, it is time for me to start really limiting their time anyway. The potatoes are getting big enough that eventually I'm going to want to be taking those pots off of the potato plants. And if you haven't seen how I did that, I'll go ahead and link to that video that I did several weeks ago with the potatoes and the pots. You know, I mentioned it earlier in this video, so you can see that. It was my little remedy to keep the chickens from digging them up. But, you know, now it's time. I think they've done a good job getting all the bugs and the slugs that we don't want in a garden out. So it'll be good real soon here. Maybe a couple more runs out front, and then I'll keep them in the back. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next garden update. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.